Galamera, Galamela, I'll say that again. Galamera, Galamera, Galamera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are you today? Well, me? I've had I don't know if I've had a good night's sleep, to be quite honest. The weather today is looking it's looking a little bit better than yesterday, right, to be honest. Still very dull. Kind of expecting a massive downpour of rain to appear. But guess what? We don't seem to have had any rain. Just looking over the back of the house towards the mountains. I'm saying good morning to Andrew the Fridge Watkins, is tuning in from Wales. It has a feel of Wales today, looking over the hills up to the top there. And again, it is looking just cloudy. I don't see any blue sky at the moment, and it seems to go on for miles. The hills that you can see are the hills that are down towards Kerry way. And Andrew the Fridge Watkins is saying, morning, Ginge, from a lovely sunny Wales for a change. Well, there you go. While we lose it, you get it. All right. Andy Dance is saying, morning, Ginge, from a bright but nippy Swansea. It looks like all the Welsh are tuning in today, doesn't it? But anyway, that's the look of the hills this morning. And looking across to our big hill, which one of these days I'm actually going to get up and climb that hill, and I've never got around to doing it. I'm going to have to do it. Quick look at the oranges, shall we? Have a look at the oranges, see how they're getting on. The oranges actually are not looking too bad. At the moment, I'm not sure if they're eaters at the moment, so just zooming in a little bit. So I don't have to traipse across Yanni's nice grass. But anyway, there's the oranges. People are curious. We've got oranges. We've got olives, obviously. They've all been harvested. We also have figs, which I've got to warn you now are dangerous, our figs, as my brother will contest to and I will contest to when he came to visit. And we've also got lemons and mandarins as well, and limes. So well, in some ways, we're kind of a little bit self-sufficient at the moment. I don't know whose car that was, just suddenly zooming in and zooming out. Anyway, let's have a look at the news for today here in a rather dull Zakynthos today. And I've got to be honest, most of the news today is, oh, there I am. You can see me today. Right, so it's the 22nd of November. Can you believe it? Almost to the end of the month, not far off. It's day 16 of our lockdown. And in the last 24 hours, it's been a bit of a black day here in Greece. Yep, we've had 2,313 new cases of the virus, which is down on yesterday, to be honest, which brings the total number of cases since the pandemic started to 87,812. No new cases here in Zakynthos at the moment, and no news on the last person who tested positive for the virus either. However, Corfu again has been hit quite heavy. They've had 9 new cases. Again, I haven't really checked on their figures as to how those new cases or how their cases have been going on. However, the big story at the moment in the Greek media and the Greek press nationally is that we had 108 deaths yesterday in the country, and that was up from 59 on the day before. Okay, that is a record. So the total amount of deaths in Greece since the pandemic started is 1,527. Now, the average age of those people was over 70. And they had underlying conditions as well. So once again, our condolences to the families that are affected. The other big story as well related to COVID is at the moment, there's a record high of people in ICUs, 522 people in ICUs. People have also been moved from different areas to find bed spaces in ICUs. You may remember the other day I said about a hospital train that chugged into Thessaloniki to take people to the hospitals there. Anyway, since the beginning of November, the number of incubated patients actually has risen almost 400%. So that's a massive increase on people there. Anyway, the last few days have shown a steady, slow increase in the average age of cases. which is estimated to be at 65 years. However, there are some people in an incubated state that are younger than that. Once again, remember I spoke about the two guys, 27 years of age, both of them, both in ICUs, under incubation, and obviously they had no underlying health conditions or anything else like that, but I think they were exceptions, and again, still no news about how those guys are faring. At the moment, the worst part for the crisis at the moment is in northern Greece at the moment. Anyway, the Greek government is expected next week to decide on extending the current lockdown as the rising coronavirus is coming on. It was to have looked at targeting the 1st of December as the date to come out of lockdown. However, that doesn't seem to be going to happen. A Greek spokesman yesterday, Stelios Petas, said to the state broadcaster, which is ERT or ERT, that the 1st of December no longer looks like a realistic target for lifting the lockdown. Anyway, he also said we never spoke of a specific timeline, but the gradual return in phases, so I'll say that again, we never spoke of a specific timeline, but of a gradual return in phases to some form of normality within December. He said, unfortunately, the first week of the lockdown was somewhat relaxed, he said, pointing to the continued steep rise in infections across the country. Well, I'm not going to wander there. To be honest, the more you test, the more you'll find. Most people are abiding by the rules. They are staying in their homes. However, on this second lockdown, we still have had a massive increase in deaths, a massive increase in infections. So you're wondering, is this lockdown really, really working? But we shall wait and see what the authorities have to say about that. He did say we will see how we design the gradual easing of the measures over the course of next week, though at this stage the battle is about containing the virus. The Greek government introduced a three-week lockdown on the 7th of November in the hopes of being able to reopen trade and other activities ahead of the Christmas holidays, though restrictions have not delivered the desired results so far. And that's what the press is saying, and that's not me saying that. That's what the press is saying at the moment. Anyway, another interesting little story. I've got mainly local stories, to be quite honest. On Friday, the management of the KTEL Bus Company, the Zakynthos branch of it, donated tablets which are going to be given to students in a symbolic move that's aimed to show a social face of the institution of KTEL Buses. The chairman of the board of directors of KTEL for Zakynthos, Dionys Kerelis, and one of the board members, George Haliakis, arrived at the secondary education offices in town and handed over 10 tablets to the head of secondary education, Dionys Potis. Mr. Potis said, I thank KTEL for its generous action, and I inform you that the schools are operating normally as no problem has been reported from anywhere. Well, there you go. A bit of a political dig there. But anyway, good on KTEL giving those tablets. There are kids here that are having a difficult time trying to get their education. Obviously, the schools at the moment are closed. The kindergartens are closed. Kids are learning from home. Hence the interference on some of my radio programs because of the bandwidth being reduced, so people can still continue their education. So good on KTEL. And you've also got to remember the bus company has taken a massive hit as well. They reported nearly an 80% drop in traffic for people getting on and off the island. People are only allowed to travel really for medical reasons at the moment. And the buses going up to Athens, there's only one bus a day going out, passing through Patra on the way, then up to Athens, and then turning round and coming back at about 1:30 in the afternoon to basically meet the ferry for 6 to come back across. So the KTEL Bus Company has had a massive hit, and so for them to give away 10 tablets like that, I think is a good sign of solidarity as well to what the crisis that's going on. And also as well, they've not had any form of bailout. They've been offered offered loans rather than money to keep them turning and burning. So again, good on KTEL for basically passing those tablets out. I also noticed another little interesting article that appeared in the Hermes News yesterday concerning the state of the Cultural Center. Now, if you're wondering where that is, if you ever go into Zakynthos town to Solomos Square, you'll see a big building on your right-hand side with the Church of St. Nicholas, and the building beside that is the Cultural Center. It houses the cinema. It also has the library there for the island, and also Coquina Greco, a nice little cafe bar that's at the other end where a lot of people like to sit out there in the summer. However, this article described in graphic pictures the wear and tear that's been inflicted upon the building over many years. Now, the building was abandoned for a very long time before the cinema moved in, and Coquina Greco obviously took over part of the building. However, the images that they put in the article showed that how badly the building has been eroded through basically earth tremors, just the sea air getting to the exterior of the building. With the exception of the two businesses, the cinema and Coquina Greco, the cafe, they've actually looked after their areas very, very well. Because they're tenants of the building, they're required to do that off their own back as they occupy the building. However, the rest of the building is not looking good. The walls are filled with graffiti and slogans, and there's also a staircase that leads up onto the roof of the building, which is in a shocking state of repair. And another issue with the building is the electrification of the building. It seems that the feed for the building was damaged back in 2018 during the major earthquake tremors that we had here on the island. And basically a temporary fix was put in to basically get power into the building. Well, anyway, this temporary fix, which everybody can see it because the underground cable that they had been damaged, is not looking the safest of temporary fixes. And the newspaper is appealing that something should be done about fixing that break. Also as well, correspondence to the cable company confirmed that an alternative temporary solution for electrification with the building was put in after 2018, and there are risks that the building could be at risk. I'm not going to say of a fire, but you put that together yourselves. Anyway, the situation, and another other area that came in for quite a lot of criticism in the article was the new playground that's just around the back of the building. There's a fountain in there, and they said the fountain now is basically just a trash can. It doesn't work, the fountain either, and so it only just contributes to a sign of devaluation of the area. And there are kids still playing in that playground, and they're saying that basically it should be sorted out. And of course, if the fountain's not working and people are chucking their rubbish in, that means the graffiti artists just get in and just make it even worse. Anyway, it's also noted in the article that that particular area is the responsibility of the Port Fund, all right, which it hopes will immediately take action for the maintenance of that location. Meanwhile, the restoration of the Cultural Centre has been a priority for several decades, and the last step in the progress was there was a study report being prepared by the Ministry of Education because of the housing of the library, which is on the first floor of the building. Anyway, updating and financing of this study remains a demand, and the municipality and the regional unit of the Ionian Islands has decided to cooperate. And the paper says rather sarcastically, however, they should not procrastinate. Pronosticate. How do you say that? Procrastinate? I think you understand what I mean. But instead use every financial opportunity that exists before it's too late. And the old mayor, Mr. Aretakis, he was recently present at the site in order to assess the situation. However, the initiatives, the paper feels it should be taken immediately. And again, I've never noticed, to be honest, you know, when you sort of look at a building, you don't always see the floors. However, I think now, next time I go and have a look at the building, I'll probably will see the floors, and they'll be hard to unsee, like things. So anyway, next time you're over here in Zakynthos, have a look at the area around Solomon Square, and also go check out the cinema in Solomon Square as well. We are lucky in the summer. We have the outdoor cinema, which is always a delight to go to. I've only been there once, and that's only because of we were under restrictions and we were waiting for the decision whether the season was going to go ahead. But in the winter, the cinema is open, and the indoor one, and it's always nice to watch a film on the screens. At the moment, nothing's happening because of the lockdown we're in, and I'd hate to see that great institution die because obviously with the virus. Anyway, one last story for you, a bit of a national story here. TUI's come under criticism from a Greek MEP called Nikos Androulis, who questioned the European Commission in local press reports in Zakynthos and across Greece. TUI, it seems, received €3 billion from the German government in an extraordinary state aid, taking advantage of the temporary European state aid in the midst of the pandemic. It decided to proceed unilaterally and retrospectively changed its terms of payment towards the service suppliers and the hotels that TUI were using. Specifically, TUI had planned to pay invoices up to 2 months after service was provided by the hotel units, and it was decided unilaterally to postpone most of the payments by 6 months, i.e. March and April 2021. Anyway, it was noted by the MEP that the non-payment of relative invoices, while TUI customers had already paid the package for their corresponding holidays, this was a form of mandatory borrowing on the part of TUI, which constitutes unfair practice. Anyway, I can understand where he's coming from. You've paid for your holiday, you've paid TUI, because you don't go on holiday until you've paid the bill. So in effect, TUI's already received the money for the holiday that you're going on, staying in the hotel that you're staying in. So what they're saying there is that they've already had their money, so in effect they should be paying the holiday company, the hotels and units. However, they've kind of got their bailout and decided we'll put that on the back burner. Blah. You can look at that two ways. You can say they either need the money to keep their business running and keeping it afloat, but I don't think in any way that TUI would be allowed to die. But on the other term, you're, as a hotelier, thinking, well, you've already had the money off the customer. The money should be coming to us, and you shouldn't be using that money as a form of loan, as it were, in effect, or as a form of another payment. Anyway, the MP said, the MEP did say that this was unacceptable by TUI and an extremely difficult tourist season for the country, which comes to strangle even more the Greek hotel units. Just 1 year after the collapse of Thomas Cook, has had disastrous economic consequences. So again, keep an eye on that story. Let's see what TUI do about it. I should think it will be seen to see how quickly, if they do pay next year to people. But again, a lot of hotels are having to take loans just to survive the winter months, to obviously, hopefully, pay their loan back once they receive payment from TUI for the services that they had for last year. And can I just also say another thing as well? Thank you to the gentleman, I think it was Brian Darlington, who was telling me about how expensive at the moment flights here to Zakynthos are. I personally haven't looked at what's been said to me, but I should think a lot of people out there are already looking at holidays. But he was telling me that for flights alone, for 2 adults and 2 children, although he didn't say the ages of the children, and as Jane said to me, any child over the age of 2 is technically basically classed as an adult. He was looking at £1,700 in flights. to get over here, although that was at August time. But as I did say to him, we had this last year, before COVID, before anything else like that, when Thomas Cook had gone under. Nobody had picked up the slack of Thomas Cook with the amount of people that they would bring, and prices actually went very high, I thought, for beginning of season. Once the season had technically got underway, after all the delays, the prices of holidays just tumbled, absolutely tumbled. And a lot of the reason was the people that seemed to be penalised were the people who had planned in advance their holidays. They got hit paying big bucks to come over, while those that hung out and waited got some really, really good bargains. But the bottom line is, nobody has ever filled the gap that Thomas Cook left, and the holiday companies themselves know that the competition is less, so therefore they can charge more because people will still come. However, what we don't want to see happen is we price ourselves out of the market, and that would be the worst case scenario. Rather have a lot of people paying less than few people paying more. It doesn't work in the overall running of the island. Anyway, let's have a look and see who's tuning in at the moment. There is quite a lot of people tuning in. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is, I've already said hello to you, mate. How you doing? He said, morning from a lovely sunny Wales for a change. David Lowry is watching as well. Andy Dance is also watching from a nippy Swansea, bless you. Heather Flynn is watching too. Michael Wood is watching. Nice to have you tuning in. Maureen from round the back is tuning in as well. Nice to see you there, my lovely. Lorna Grant is also tuning in. She says, morning, Ginge. Gav Kitchen, Raffridge buddy, he's also tuning in as well. Not seen you around in a while, Gav. Nice to see you. Give you a wave back. There you go. Natalie Hunt is also tuning in. Mike Ryan is also tuning in. One of my ex-bosses from the Raffridge. Nice to have you tuning in. Checking up on your young lads. See how they're getting on. God almighty, 60 this year I am. Anyway, Andy Johnson is watching as well. Nice to have you. Raffridge buddy as well. Louise Green is tuning in. Nice to see you as well. Graham Chisholm is tuning in as well. Paul Harrison tuning in from South Ogden in Essex. All right, Essex boy, nice to have you there. I think Paul's also Raffridge. Graham Bint tuning in from Australia. Also Bob Cave tuning in from Oxford. Nice to have you tuning in. Steve Lee tuning in as well. Nice to have you. Good regular to the island. John Illingworth is watching in. Julie Anstill is watching in. Susie Angus is also watching in. Nice to see Susie looking in as well. Mark Stewart is tuning in. Billy Hester, Hillary Rogers up there at Pigadackia, up the north end of the island. How's the weather up where you are? It's grim down where we are in Macardo. Christine Plant is also tuning in. Lovely to have you tuning in there from Stoke-on-Trent. Ray! Also Amanda Gregory up the hill there is tuning in as well. Nice to have you with us. How the little dog's getting on, or your little puppy doing? Christine Plant is watching as well. Paula Chatterton is also watching. Also Maria is tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in, my lovely. Patsy Ann Dobson, morning from a dull Margate. Oh, bless, I love Margate. Hope you are well and keeping safe. You keep us going. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much for that, Patsy. Next time I'm in Margate, we must go for coffee. I would say down at Miles's, but I don't think it's called Miles's anymore. I don't even know who's still open. We'll probably end up going across to the Witherspoons, where the Royal Pier is over there for a coffee, because you can have one and drink as much as you like. There you go. Philip Ellis is also watching. Pam Stopp is watching. Lyndon in Wales. More Welsh listeners, Welsh viewers listening in. Martin Cussell, my old ex-Raffridge buddy and also paramedic now. He's tuning in. Nice to see you there as well. Andrew Watson is also tuning in. Kevin Bell. Paul Armstrong is also, or Dwarf is watching in as well. Greg Phillips as well. Nice to see you here. Stuart Hodson up in Concert, Cumbria, County Durham, should I say. Fireman, firefighter. Nice having you tuning in as well. Christopher Lloyd James is also watching. Julie Hamilton's watching. Alan Woodhouse. Sam Curtis is watching. Sam, I have made your birthday show. I made it yesterday. 4.5 hours odd. I had so much fun doing your show. I really did. I hope you're going to love it, and I'm going to upload it just before your birthday, so you and all your friends can obviously watch it, listen to it. It is just the audio. However, I do have the video for it. I will save that for you, and next time you're over visiting here in Zakynthos, I'll give you a copy of the audio and the video, okay, of your show, because again, all the stuff I do online has a video element to it, and I think you'll like it. All right, I'm hoping that you will. And I really had a lot of fun making your online birthday party. And yes, I did sing happy birthday. All right, okay. Alan Woodhouse from Blackpool's looking in. Andrew the Fridge Watkins says there's ice on the cars. Okay, yeah, it's cold there. Billy Hester says morning, Ginge. Hillary says same here. Marley's doing well, says Amanda, and Bob Monroe is watching as well. Well, thank you all those people who are tuning in. Today is Sunday, and as I said, I've got to let you know that my Request and Inspiration show number 12, it charted yesterday. I was so chuffed about that charting yesterday. It went in at number 57 in the Mixcloud Pop chart. It went in at number 22 on the Reggae chart on Mixcloud, and on the Soul chart it went in at number 78. So hey, it's still happening. We're still charting. I was hoping I was going to chart in the Ska, but so far I haven't done anything on the Ska chart. There was a bit of ska in that show. Just to let you know, my next show, which will be next Wednesday, the 25th of November, keep putting your requests in. I missed a load of people's requests. It's really weird. When you're online doing something, you don't always see all the information that people send you until after you finish your broadcast. You miss something just of the way it all lays out as you're trying to scroll through. So those people whose requests I miss, I always write them down in my little book here. Where's my little book gone? Here we go. This is my little request book. I write them down in there, ready for the next show. So once again, please, any requests, any messages, pop them in the comments below, okay, wherever you're watching this, and I will endeavour to play them on my next show. So what am I doing today? I think today's a burning day. My first burn of the winter. All the rubbish, we like to put our recycling, we have a burning bag, and then we have stuff that goes to the municipality, and it's the burning bag day to get a burn. Anyway, that's it from me. You have a great day wherever you are in the world. I'll wait and see if the weather improves, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again tomorrow. You take care. Ta-ra.